Hey guys, what is up? It is Alex here with another episode of the career mode for F1 2012. This time we are in India and we are racing in the south. We're starting in 8th position after a pretty good qualifying, and we're actually starting in the rain, and this is actually going to be the longest career mode I'm probably ever going to do, because I'm actually going to show the whole race this time and try and stay entertaining for all of it, because it's actually quite a good race and actually quite fun. But yeah, you can see I started in 8th position, got 1 position on the line, and then Massa goes on the outside. I'm trying to get the position now. Trying to go down the inside of all these guys. They're really slow. Then Raikkonen gets a little bit sideways. I used a bit of courage to try and get back past him. So I went from 8th to 5th in the first couple of corners. Not a very, not very amazing start, but a pretty decent start for me in the Sauber, and that's got me up a couple of positions. Now Raikkonen is going to try down the inside, as he seems to have extra pace, but he still dives it down the inside with the extra speed. And Grosjean, I think that's Rosberg, right in front of us, so we can probably catch them, but you can see at the moment they've probably got like a 1 second gap. Then we've got Kobayashi and Massa right behind us, so they're not going to give up. They're going to try it. And there's Raikkonen just trying to block off the move, and then I tried to go from the inside, but there's just no space whatsoever. Then getting that a little bit wrong. Kobayashi's right on the back of me now. He's trying to go around the outside, but there just isn't any space there. So now I've got to hook up a good couple of corners to make sure that I'm ahead of Kobayashi, and that I don't fail for the rest of this race. But yeah, in this video I'm not going to 100% talk about the gameplay, as it is so long, and I can't really talk for that long about it, and as it's not such a cut together bit of commentary, it's probably not going to be as exciting, but I can hopefully get some topics off the top of my head and talk about them. And first off, I asked you guys on Twitter a couple of days ago, or when you're watching this probably about a month ago, what was your who was the driver of your season for 2012? Because there are a lot of drivers that actually did pretty amazingly in 2012. To name a couple, there was Raikkonen on an amazing comeback year for Formula 1, I think 2 or so years away from the sport. It really sort of affected his performance at the start, but near the end he was absolutely amazing fast. Alonso, he named himself the driver of the season, I think, so did all the Ferrari guys, and he also said that it was the best season of his life, even though he didn't win the championship. He lost out by about 3 points, I think it was. Also people like Nico Hülkenberg, absolutely amazing year for him. He outperformed the car pretty much every single race he got into it, and he's moving to Sauber this year, and he's probably going to do a pretty good job this year, I think, as long as the Sauber car is good. And then you've got people like Grosjean. I mean, you could say he's had a horrible year with all the crashes, but when he actually showed his pure pace, let's take a couple of examples. Hungary, Silverstone, and I think Bahrain, there were some really good races for him. He was ultra fast, and Montreal also showed that he's good with the tyre wear. So I know lots of people won't agree with me, but I think Grosjean did a great year this year. If you take out all the crashes, which was half of the year, he did a pretty good job. And hopefully 2013 will be better for him, because he'll get sideways there. But yeah, who was my driver of the season? Lots of people said Kimi, because he had an amazing comeback year. Lots of people said Alonso, and I think there were a couple other things like Vettel, Hamilton. But overall, I think the majority of people actually said that Kimi Raikkonen was the driver of the year. Even though he didn't win the championship, he came 3rd. He still, from your point of view, was the driver of the season. So that's pretty amazing to see. I didn't actually expect that. I expected to see Hamilton, Alonso and Vettel completely dominate that, but it's nice to have the response. I thank you for that. And yeah, but in my point of view, I don't know who the driver of the season is, and I'm not going to take one of the top 5 or 6 drivers, because whatever car they're putting in there, they're going to be fast. So I'm going to take somebody like I'm probably going to say Nico Hülkenberg. For me, was a really good driver this season. I mean, I was supporting him, yes, but I also think he did do a pretty good year, and he definitely showed he had raw performance, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in a top 3 team in the next coming years. And who else did a pretty good job? I mean, people like Maldonado, they won a race. I mean, think about lots of people don't like Maldonado, but he did a very good job in Spain, and Abu Dhabi he did a good job as well. He got 5th, and he showed when he doesn't crash and when he doesn't get into mayhem, and he's a fast driver, just like Grosjean. They're both fast drivers. They're both probably top 10 in the speed wise in Formula 1. I mean, Maldonado put it on the front row of the grid a couple of times this year in a Williams, which really shouldn't have been there. So let's just put it in perspective. Maldonado did a pretty good job. So did Hülkenberg. He led a race in Brazil until he came together with Hamilton, which I still to this day think it's a racing incident. But it's kind of sad to see Lewis Hamilton's last race at McLaren end that way. But oh yeah, I don't need to get onto that. I did that all in the race review. So yeah, we're on the track. Obviously, we are trying to set some faster sectors. We're doing quite well actually, even though we're getting this a little bit wrong. We're setting some faster sectors. This last sector's pretty slow because I went off the track so much. But yeah, half second up on my pace lap, which is actually putting me fastest overall. So that's quite good. I mean, we're only like a fifth of the race in so far. And I'm catching up with Raikkonen. I'm keeping him in my distance, or keeping him in my sight. And you can see this is a pretty sort of average pace for me, because behind me is Kobayashi. He's 2 seconds behind me, and this sort of shows that this is sort of the right difficulty for me in these conditions. It seems to be the right conditions and difficulty for me. But in the dry conditions, it does seem that Pro is a bit too easy now. And depending on what offers we get, we may switch up to a better team and up to Legend for the second series. And also, I don't know whether you might have watched a Eurotrack video. I don't know whether it's come out yet. I'm recording so many videos in advance, I don't know. But I might do a third season in Formula 1. I might do the second season on Xbox, and then do a third season on PlayStation 3 in which I use my wheel, and obviously I've got the game for PS3 now, thanks to Jack Leslie. Won his competition, which is amazing, and yeah, I still can't believe I won it. And yeah, so I won that, and I have the opportunity to do the league and everything now on PS3, which is awesome. And yeah, I don't know whether I'm going to be using my wheel for the league, because I'm recording this so far in advance, but I might use it just to try and test it out and see what happens. So yeah, so we've sort of lost Raikkonen in this last lap. You can see in front of us, he's sort of pulling away from us, and really seems to be sort of grabbing the advantage here. I mean, we're setting a lap time here, or for the first couple of sectors at least, which is a second down in our pace lap, which isn't exactly great. So we're going to have to try and hopefully get into our normal pace lap again, and maybe start catching down Raikkonen again. Because if we look on the map, really we're not that far off from the leader, so we can probably do a bit of damage, maybe get into the top 5, which would be awesome. And I'm also putting it up to the front brakes and fast fuel mode. That will improve our lap times hopefully. So their button sets the fastest lap of the race at 40.9, and we haven't really matched at that yet. We're about 5/10, 6/10 off that, so we're not doing that well. But hopefully in the next coming laps we will catch up to the back of Raikkonen and hopefully take the position away from him, because obviously more points in the championship will be awesome. And considering it's on Pro and it is a bit easy, let's be honest, I'd be happy to get top 5 in the championship, but more realistically, top 8, top 6 probably a bit more realistic, because I probably will lose a lot of time in the last couple of races, as the top guys will be scoring more and more points and I'll be scoring less and less points, as the last couple of tracks I'm not very good at. So we'll see what happens when that comes around. So yeah, hopefully the next race in Abu Dhabi will be fun. I know I'm going to be pretty slow at Austin, Texas in the United States Grand Prix, and Brazil I don't really know. I haven't really raced that track much on this game, so we'll just see what happens when we come around to that. So yeah, I think I'm alright in Abu Dhabi, but not that great. And also what was I also talking about, also Texas I'm going to be pretty slow at, so I'll be happy if I even get in the top 10 at Austin, Texas. And Brazil, obviously, again, it'd be nice just to get in the top 10. And we just want to beat Vettel in the championship, so we might have the opportunity to have a contract offer from Red Bull, and that'll be awesome. And obviously that'll mean that I can race next season, hopefully on Legend, and hopefully have some good races. Even though I go up to Legend, I probably won't be winning races unless it's a track I enjoy. I expect if I put it up into Legend, I'll probably be, probably just be about top 10. And I think it might be exciting, hopefully, if I put it up to Legend and try in the Red Bull or whatever contract offers I get. I don't know, Red Bull, Mercedes, but it probably will be Red Bull, as I've got an offer from Vettel, hopefully, because if I beat him as a rival, I should get an offer in the championship. So yeah, we're on to lap 6 now, after I've just completely just went off random topics, and we're not really catching Raikkonen. And you can see in front of us on the mini-map that there are 3 cars right in front of us that we can probably get past, and then there's 2 cars sort of escaping from us. And 3 cars in front of us are Raikkonen, Grosjean, and I think it's Rosberg. And then you can see behind us that Kobayashi is holding up a group of 3 or 4 cars. And this lap we're actually setting a fastest first sector. I don't know why the first sector is so long in this lap, but I don't know why. It's quite fast as well. So yeah, fastest first sector. Get the words out properly, and hopefully you can get the second sector hooked up, and then the last sector hooked up as well, and get another fast lap time in the race, and hopefully we can catch up Raikkonen a bit more, and then Grosjean and Rosberg will hopefully be targets right after that. Another fastest sector in the middle one. We actually caught up to Raikkonen 1 second in this lap, and that's pretty good obviously, and that might mean in the next couple of laps we might be in a slipstream down the back straight and might actually have an opportunity to overtake him, but we'll see what happens when it comes about. But we are definitely catching Raikkonen, as he's a lot closer in front of us, as you can see on your screen. And yeah, a bit of a fail out the last corner, but across the line doing a 39.8, actually setting the fastest lap of the race. I hooked that lap up perfectly, and meaning that I get a lot closer to the guys in front of me. You can see them visibly now, they're a lot closer, and it's pretty amazing setting the fastest lap of the race. And it's just because I pretty much every corner was perfect on that lap. And then we go down the inside of Raikkonen, trying not to hit the bollard on the inside, and then we got Grosjean now and Rosberg in front of us. A pretty good move on Raikkonen, meaning we're up into 5th position, and let's be honest, 4th and 3rd might be an easy shot if we keep putting in those consistent lap times, but it's not going to be that easy to put in lap times like that ever again, because the tyres are probably at their peak now. They're going to be dropping off towards the end, and also the fact that I'm probably not going to be as fast, just because the fuel will be running out and I have to put it into the standard fuel mix towards the end. Now, Grosjean only half a second in front of us. We've actually got a second to Raikkonen now, so that's quite nice. And this is always the couple of corners I mess up on. You would have seen there on the right hand side that I normally cut that a little bit, or normally I don't normally, but about 3 or 4 of the laps I have, because I just failed a couple of sectors there. But yeah, coming around the sort of long right hander around the end of the lap, and yeah, we still got Grosjean in our sights, and Raikkonen 1.1 behind us, so we've still got the gap, and we can hopefully keep that gap until the end. But yeah, we got +3 laps fuel, as you can see on your screen now, and hopefully we can go to about lap 10 on the fast fuel mode. But yeah, going down the outside of Grosjean, he goes really defensive into the final corner. We just try and stick around the outside. He leaves space and I leave space, but I just completely drive around the outside of him, and he left the gap, and I just took it whilst I could. But he's going to be in the zone to overtake us, just with the slipstream down the back straight, and he probably will take us in the next couple of corners if he's lucky. But we have got a full sort of bar of curves, so we can probably catch him up. But then Rosberg's right in front of us, P3 after an alright P8 starting, and it might be a bit of a task to get past Rosberg, as he's a fast car in a straight line. But we can try, and hopefully in one of the corners we might be able to get him. But yeah, we're about halfway through the race now, and lap 8 of 15, going down the back straight of lap 8, so we're not doing too badly. We've still got +3 laps fuel, so hopefully we can maybe go for a couple of extra laps than maybe previously thought. Just want to put it into the fast fuel mode for as long as possible. Bit down on our pace lap, but Rosberg is still within a second of us, and we can probably maybe catch him, but the thing is, he's just a lot faster through some of the corners and some of the straights, so it's going to be hard. But you can see there I messed up the corner back there, which is going to lose me more time. And Grosjean and Raikkonen still have an opportunity to get back past. I don't really want them to, but the thing is, they probably will have a chance. And with this such a slippery surface, it's going to be hard to keep it on the track and keep it going in the right direction. I was also wondering to myself, just going back to what I was talking about earlier about the sort of driver of the season, which one did really well, whatever. I was also thinking about what was the race of the season, because we had a lot of great races. And if you think about Australia, was a pretty awesome race, the safety cars and all that good stuff. And then Malaysia was an absolutely crazy race with Alonso winning, China, Rosberg winning, and then we go on to Bahrain, Vettel winning for the first time, and then I think it was Maldonado won in Spain, 6th race. I'm trying to listen off the top of my head. I think it's Monaco, sorry, and Webber won. 7th race, Hamilton won. 8th race, Alonso won. 9th race, that was in Britain. I think Webber won. 10th race, Hockenheim. Then Alonso won, and then 11th race, Hungary, which I think Hamilton won, and then 12th race, that was Spa, which Button won. Then 13th race, that was Monza, which Hamilton won. 14th race, Singapore, Vettel won. 15th race, Japan, Vettel won. 16th race, Vettel won. That was this race in India. Wait, no, was it 16th race? That was Korea, sorry. And the 17th race, Vettel won this one as well. Then the 18th race, we got into Abu Dhabi, and Vettel didn't win. Kimi Raikkonen won. 19th race, that was where Hamilton won in Austin. Then the 20th race, after a long season, Jenson Button won. I think it's his third race, and he won one race at the start, one race in the middle, and one race at the end. So, you know, I think Button's got a good chance of winning next year. But we had a pretty good race in every single race of the season. I mean, there weren't really any sort of really boring races, and you know, there were obviously a couple which weren't great, but some races obviously better than others. I personally liked when Pastor Maldonado won, because it was great to see Williams on the top step of the podium once again. And you know, I think it was the day of Frank Williams, one of his birthdays. I think it might have been his 80th birthday, and I think that was probably my race of the season, just to see Williams, my favourite team, on the top step of the podium once again after so many years. I think it was like 2004 since like the last time they were on the podium, top step of the podium even. And for me, I think that was probably my race of the season, just because it was nice to see Williams all the way back up the top of the podium. But yeah, you can see on your screen now that Rosberg is, I'm sort of slowly catching Rosberg, and I was going to go for the move there, but I decided not to and decided against it. So that meant that I could maybe the next lap I might have the opportunity to get past him. Now using all our curves down the back straight, and we've still got +2 laps fuel, so it's eking out. We put it in the fast fuel mode on lap 4, and we had +4 laps fuel, and now we've gone to fast fuel mode ever since lap 4, I think it was, and we've still got +2 laps, so we might actually be able to run to the end on the fast fuel mode, which would be pretty crazy if we could. But you'll see on the map the front two guys have pulled away quite a bit now, and Grosjean's still 1.2 behind me, so he's keeping that gap consistent, and getting that wrong once again, losing more time to Rosberg, because lots of people think you gain time by cutting that corner there, but you actually lose time because, you know, it slows you down and everything. So yeah, it's been a pretty crazy race. It's been raining every single second I've been on the track, and somehow I haven't lost it completely or whatever. And I think this was a pretty consistent race for me, and I was putting in consistent lap times. I mean, most of the lap times within a second of each other, so I think, you know, it's better to be consistent than be fast on one lap and then be really slow on the rest of the laps or whatever. It's better to be consistent than be fast one lap fast, you know, fast one lap, slow the next lap, whatever. Yeah, so I was pretty happy with this race, and even if I ended up in like 6th, which you know, was likely I could have, I would have been happy with this race, because, you know, I showed that I actually had pure pace against my teammate. You can see there, Kobayashi's, I think, in I can't remember, is it like 8th position, and you can see there on your screen Vettel is 19th. I don't know what happened to him. He's had a horrible race, and yeah, he nearly actually got lapped by the end of it. I think he started way at the back, and he might have had some problems in quali, and yeah, you can see a bit of a glitch in the recording there. It just like randomly glitched, but yeah, Vettel started right near the back, I think, and he just got stuck behind the HRT Marussians and Caterhams for a lot of the race. And now Rosberg's going side by side with me down the long straight, and he's got the speed down the back straight, even though I use curves, and then I try and get into the slipstream, but go a bit too much, and then try and go around the outside, brake it a little bit later, and, you know, try and make it around the outside. Rosberg's car is still there, and he's going to go side by side. He sort of turned into me a little bit there, and then trying to duck back into the slipstream once again. And you can see now Grosjean's catching us as we're battling away. Grosjean's caught us to about a second this lap, as we're trying to go side by side with Rosberg. Side by side stuff, an amazing place to do the overtake, and pretty crazy place to do it. And I was pretty happy with that move. I liked it. And it's always nice to, you know, it's always satisfying doing a move like that, especially on someone like Rosberg, who has probably a little bit of a faster car in most areas of the track. But I mean, I'm so sorry that I can't make such a long video exciting. I just haven't got it in me at the moment to just randomly pull out 30 minutes of entertainment every single second of like high pace action commentary. But hopefully the next one will be sort of cut down a little bit. I actually do prefer a lot doing the you know, like 10-minute videos, 8-minute videos of the highlights, because I think then I can put exciting commentary over them. But if you really do want to see full races, I probably can do them, but it probably won't be as exciting, and I probably will not do season 2 as full races unless you really want me to. But I think that highlights are probably the way to go, and as with season 3 on PS3, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. It comes around that sort of point. But yeah, I'm excited to be using the wheel on the PS3 when it comes about. You know, it's going to be a challenge of course, but I'll probably start off with one of the back teams once again, and just hope I can have some entertaining races. And I think the wheel is apparently a couple of seconds slower, so I might have to run it on professional. I might start in the Williams, but we'll see what happens when it comes around. So yeah, we've got about 3.5 laps to go. We've got lap 15, 14, 13, and obviously half of this lap to go. And we've still got +1 lap fuel, so we're probably going to run to about lap 14 on the fast, and then switch down a couple of notches and put it into the normal fuel mode, and then you can see on the bottom right hand of your screen, or left hand sorry of your screen, you can see, well, you could have seen that Vettel was actually getting stuck behind all the back markers. He was still in 19th position after such a long race, and we actually nearly lapped him by the end, or the leaders nearly lapped him, about 5 or so seconds behind the leaders. But yeah, it was a pretty nice battle between the front two. I mean, they sort of spread it out towards the end, but yeah, you can see that I kind of failed getting a bit of the aquaplaning a little bit, and getting a little bit wide and sort of losing a bit of time out of that one. But yeah, I do actually enjoy this race. I mean, it wasn't really the most high-paced, action-paced, whatever race, but you know, you can see I pulled off some pretty nice moves, and I kept it on the track most of the time as well, which is a good thing, because it meant that I just was consistently up there and having a good result, which was a good thing for me, especially in the championship. I'm actually against Grosjean in the championship, but I think by the end of this he might have pulled away a couple of points. But it doesn't really matter to me. If I just put in some nice results, it shows that I've got some pace compared to the AI, and that's really what I want, which is nice to see. So we are nearing the end of the race, lap 13 now, and steadily keeping the gap to Rosberg about 1.5 seconds, and the gap to Webber's slowly going up as our tyres are going off, and we'll have to chuck it into the slower standard fuel mix in the last lap or so, just so we don't run out of fuel and completely fail the whole race. But the gap to Webber's alright. I mean, we've probably got about 6 seconds I'd say to Webber, but that's not too bad considering he's in a Red Bull, I'm in a Sauber, and the conditions really show that I'm not as fast as the guys at the front. But I wonder if I'd started nearer the front, maybe top 5, how this race might have been different. But you can always say what ifs, but it's been an exciting race, whatever, and it's been fun for me to drive in the rain. I think this might have been the first rain race I've had in this career, or full rain race or whatever. It's been raining for the whole race, but yeah, it's nice to have a different conditions, and definitely it's nice to change it up a little bit and try something a bit different with the strategy and everything. And but yeah, we lost it at the end. The tyres did go off at the end. I don't know whether it would have been a better move to maybe pit and go for new tyres, maybe go for a faster engine, but you never know. It's probably the logical thing to just stay out on the tyres and keep going, because obviously you won't lose that like 20 seconds in the pit. So yeah, we're going on to the 14th lap in a second here, and it's been a very long commentary. We've dipped over 22 minutes now, and Webber's slowly pulling out on us about 2 or 3 tenths a lap, and I think he's gonna probably grab us about 8 seconds by the end, as we're gonna have to chuck it into the slower fuel mix. Vettel is still 18th, and he's having a horrible race considering his teammate Mark Webber is up in 2nd position and doing a good job, and still used a bit of curves at the start line, but you can see there I put it into the normal and then I'm putting it back up to the fast. I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention to that, but yeah, I was just to save a bit of fuel, I guess, in that mid stint after I'd overtaken Rosberg, and I completely failed. I didn't realise about that whatsoever. But yeah, now we're going to start making a couple of mistakes here. For example, that's where we lose about 1.5 seconds, and Rosberg is right back on the back of us now, so it's not over until it's over. You can see there the gap to Mark Webber now is 7 seconds, and that was a bit of a fail, and I probably could have got away without doing that. I probably could have maybe braked a little bit earlier and not done that whatsoever, but I think these things happen and they sort of ruin the race a little bit. But luckily we still have got 3rd position ahead of Rosberg, but it's going to be a hard job now to keep him behind us, because he's probably going to be a bit faster than us, but we're going to get sideways like the last couple of corners as well, and if we keep running wide there, I think we're trying to make sure we don't lose too much time. And now we've lost another second in the middle sector to Webber. That gap's up to 8 seconds, and the gap to Rosberg is 3 tenths of a second. So it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a close finish, but who knows how it's going to end up. And with 1 lap to go, 1 lap and 1 corner to go, and the fast fuel mix, what is going to happen? Because if we rejoin this race, for example, if we get a 20-second penalty, we'll probably finish about 11th, 13th is what it's telling us. So, what is going to happen? We're using a bit of curves across the start finish line. Green flag racing. I think there might have been a little spin for some of the lapped cars. You can see in front of me that the 2 leaders are actually catching up to the back markers now, and they're going to be probably right at the back of them by the end of the lap, as they will be about 3 or 4 seconds faster. Now coming out of the hairpin, using a bit of curves in a second here to maximise our potential straight speed. and using all of it and grabbing into 7th gear at about 180 miles an hour. It's amazing how fast you can go in these wet conditions, and braking into this one is the hardest corner of the whole track because you never know if you're going to get it in time. Then getting sideways, mega sideways, and Rosberg and Co are right to the back of us once again. And I actually think that they might have had a penalty or something, because it looks like one of the Lotuses has actually had a bit of a problem. Either Grosjean or Raikkonen has had problems there, because they have dropped back. So there's only 2 cars you can see on your minimap now behind me. There's not 3. Now you can see in front of me on the minimap that the 2 leaders are actually catching right up to the back of the AI, the slow AI, of the slower teams. And you can see right behind me now, Rosberg is catching up through this last sector. I'm actually quite scared what's going to happen here. Running ultra wide there, losing a bit of time as it does slow you down. 0.6 of a second and 9 seconds to Webber. So it'd be nice if we can just get within 10 seconds of him at the end. And we're going into the fast, obviously we're still in the fast fuel mode. And last couple of corners of the race and of the video. And yeah, amazing race for me. Absolutely crazy, you know, conditions and everything. And Jenson Button wins the race. Great race by him. It goes into optimal with the final corner, my fuel, and I come across the line. And what an amazing race. On the intermediate tyres for the whole race. Started, I think, in about 8th. Kobayashi finished 6th too, so a great race for Sauber in general. And my 3rd puts my about 5th or 6th podium on the board. So yeah, great race, guys. Jenson Button win from Mark Webber, and I'm 3rd. Nico Rosberg 4th. Raikkonen 5th. Kobayashi 6th. Schumacher, then it was Massa, then Hamilton. So Hamilton now leads the championship by 27 points. We'll see what happens in Abu Dhabi, guys. It's going to be an interesting one. And also Mark Webber is right behind us in the drives as well. So guys, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's been Alex, and I'm out of here. Bye.